find your way. Oh, and I want you to be I am human. Got my feet on the ground. And then you walked in without making a sound. Oh, I'm human. I'll rattle your cage. Our hearts divided. We'll be caught in that way. Take flight. In your way. Oh, and I want you to be home.
Good evening, Spartans, and happy homecoming. I'm Bill Beekman, Vice President and Athletic Director here at Michigan State University. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We want to thank Sparrow Health System as our title sponsor for tonight's event. As the only community-based, community-owned health system in the region, Sparrow provides exceptional care in our mid-Michigan community. They are longstanding partners of the Spartans, and we're happy to have them with us tonight. In a normal year, we'd be getting ready to welcome tens of thousands of Spartans on campus for homecoming and a football victory. But this year is anything but normal. We hope you've all been staying safe, and we know you're anxious as much as we are for a return to football and the rest of Spartan athletics. We're going to have some fun tonight and give out some great prizes, including Spartan gear and $100 gift cards to the Spartan bookstore. We'll announce winners live throughout the event, and winners will be contacted in the coming days to receive their prizes. What the heck? Let's go ahead and give away one of those gift cards right now. Ellen W. from Sterling Heights, Michigan, congratulations. You're our first winner. Oh, what about another one? Sherry K. from Ida, Michigan. You win a $100 gift card too. I now get the pleasure of introducing this year's homecoming Grand Marshal, our own Sparty. With us since 1955, Sparty is the heart of the university, forever supporting its teams, bringing smiles to young and old, and continually uplifting all who meet him. He's both fearless and lovable, recognized throughout the state of Michigan and across the nation. Despite his size, strength, and storied history, he is always available to greet MSU fans with a hug or a friendly high five. Thanks for being with us tonight, Sparty. We look forward to seeing you in person soon. Tonight, we're going to hear from all 19 of our head coaches and learn a little bit more about who they are, get some updates on our programs, and talk about what they and the student athletes have been up to. Before we bring in our first group of head coaches, here's a short message from our presenting sponsor, Sparrow Health System.
Every day, there are doors to open and steps to be taken. There are chapters waiting to be written. There are simple things that mean the world, and things so complex they can change a world. There are decisions to make that make all the difference, and we have a part in all of it every day.
Well, thank you so much to our friends from the Sparrow Health System, and we've got a slate of coaches here that have joined us. Jackie Joseph, our head softball coach, Dean Orlando, men's tennis, Tom Saxton, women's soccer, and Walt Drent, our cross-country and track and field coach. These 4 head coaches are among those who've been at MSU the longest. Wow. They've had a combined 103 years of head coaching experience. And I also, before we get started, I want to recognize Walt Drent as last year's Big Ten cross-country coach of the year. So congratulations, Coach Drent. Now on to a question. So we're gonna shift this up from the script you guys saw earlier just a little bit. Before you answer a question, I want you to tell a fun fact about yourself. You can find out so much information on the internet these days, but you got to come up with something interesting about yourself that you can tell our Spartan community that I couldn't find on the internet. So with that as an intro, talk about memorable moments. So many memorable moments occur on our campus, gathering and engaging, the thrill of hearing victory for MSU. So Jackie, why don't you start us off with a fun fact and your most memorable moment as a Spartan?
Wow, thank you for having me, Bill, and thank you to Sparrow for sponsoring, and thank you to all our alums and donors out there. I'm thrilled to be here today. Fun fact about me, I'm Middle Eastern. Both my parents were from Lebanon, my grandparents, and I'm from Flint. So it's been just an absolute privilege and honor to be here all these years. So I don't know how fun that is, but that's safe because
that worked. So Jackie, what's your most memorable moment as a Spartan?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I first got the job here, the 1976 women's team won a national championship. And back in those days, there was no fanfare, right? They came back in their own cars and they weren't honored with a parade or rings or anything like that. So right after I got here, I asked the athletic department to help me in bringing back the 76 national championship team. And we brought them back. We honored them at football. We bought them championship rings. And we retired the jersey of one of the greatest Spartan players and coaches in history. And that's one of my proudest moments. Obviously, I love all of the victories over Michigan. Those were obviously they're memorable, but honoring that 76 team will be one of the best things I've ever done here.
Tom, Walt, Gene, anyone want to chime in with, remember, before you say anything else, you got to tell us your fun fact. But anybody want to chime in on their most memorable MSU moment?
I would say when we qualified for the NCAAs for my first time in 2013 and being in Coach Izzo's little video room. We had a big screen and our name was called and we got to hoop it up and Coach Izzo was there and sharing in the moment with us. And that was probably the best. That was really a special moment for me. And piggybacking off Jackie, we celebrated the 1951 team, the first Big Ten championship, tennis Big Ten championship, and celebrating with them was a very memorable moment for me to see how excited they were and how excited we were. So that was really special.
Very good, very good. Walt, how about you?
So can you hear me? I just want to make sure my technological skills are a little low.
You're good.
You picked me up. That's a good start for me anyway. So I suppose I don't have too many fun facts. I grew up in northern Michigan, a little town called Charlevoix, and I suppose if there's anything that you can't find on the internet is I love to grill. I can grill anything. If it gets cooked, I can put it on a grill or a smoker or any kind of, I think I have 5 grills in my garage. They all have different purposes. So that'd probably be my fun fact. A lot of memories here. A lot of athletic stuff that's gone pretty well for us. I honestly, I think probably one of the most memorable things is getting an email from someone who didn't think that they were qualified for graduate school. And I, as they were graduating, I said, "What are you thinking about? You have an opportunity to do something special. You're bright. It never occurred to them that the next step for them would even be an option." And getting an email, that email was probably as humbling a thing as I've ever experienced, and am as proud of as anything. Just knowing that, we were able to convince someone that there was more to them than they thought. And that probably in essence is what we do as coaches. So that still sticks out to me as one of the big deals.
Pretty cool. Tom, how about a memorable moment from women's soccer?
Bill, I'm not sure how well I'm coming through.
Oh, you're breaking up on us a little bit.
I'm in my as a college coach in my 35th at Michigan State, and I feel very fortunate to have the experience I've had, especially wearing the green and white over the years as both a player and a coach. Certainly one of my proudest moments to kind of take it in a different direction is having one of my student athletes awarded with the Rhodes Scholarship. That young person was Sarah Covan, and she happens to be the daughter of Jeff Covan, who means to us over the years, and especially during these difficult times. I've always felt that we're in education. Athletics is certainly part of that, but to have somebody reach the pinnacle like a Rhodes Scholarship was a fantastic moment for me.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular, and to have it be the daughter of our team physician for so many years is just really, really special. And Jeff and the Covan family and Sarah are pretty wonderful. So let me move on to a different question, because you all are the old timers. You're the senior group, the people that have been around forever. So what ways has MSU changed over the last couple of decades? Walt, we'll start with you.
Should have started with me last. I guess it would be end with me.
My connection must be breaking up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think probably, Bill, what's changed? I think probably the support of our student athletes is probably one of the things that's changed as dramatically as anything. From academic advising and nutrition and kind of all the pieces. I think that's probably been one of the biggest changes. And I think one of the things that's steady, and I know you didn't ask about steady, is sort of it's a remarkable group of people we work with daily, and kind of across the board how it's more like we get a lot done, and there's a lot of support from a lot of different corners. I don't think that I've been at other places where events and sports were sort of isolated from each other, and it doesn't feel like that here. And I think that's been pretty special and hasn't changed, but I think it's gotten better and better.
Excellent. Others, what's changed from your perspective, or how are things different than the olden days?
Well, I can say in the olden days, parent involvement was much different. You get a lot more interaction with parents today than you ever did back in the day. I think in the olden days, the parents were really happy to just get their kids out of the house. And now with FaceTime and technology, they're pretty much connected every second of every day. And that's not all bad. That's not bad. It's just different. It's just a little bit different navigating the growth of the player and some of that stuff. But to echo Walt, 6 ADs, Bill, we've had, so there's been some change. But Walt's right. The people has what stayed consistent, and that's been the good part. But for the alums that haven't been back in a while, man, the growth on the campus is amazing. The new buildings, that new STEM building alone, the facilities are just incredible from when I first got here. So it's always worth the trip back once COVID lifts to see how campus has grown.
Well, and I want to capture that idea for a minute, Jackie. That's a really important point. And for those of you that may not have been back to see a softball game, a baseball game, or a soccer game, Old College Field is just really transformed and is an extraordinary place to watch Spartan athletics. The McLean Baseball Stadium, the Secchia Softball Stadium, and the DeMartin Stadium that houses men's and women's soccer is really it's just state of the art in right in the scenic area of campus along the Red Cedar River. So, when you come back, don't just come back for a football game or a basketball game. Come back and see some of our other extraordinary student athletes, and that's just a setting that I don't think can be matched anywhere in the Big Ten. So, Gene, we're going to throw one your way here. Could you share with us a little bit the experience that you try and provide for our student athletes from when they get onto campus to when they graduate? What's that experience like for them, and what kind of environment and culture are you working to create?
Well, as soon as the guys arrive on campus, we try to have them meet with our academic advisors, obviously meet with Coach Harry and I, and just try to get them to land on their feet right away, and they feel comfortable, meeting new people and getting to know all their support staff, and then getting to know the teammates. And we talk a lot about our core values, and we share with them right away and that's, for us, it's called BAT-D, belief, accountability, together, determination. And we kind of use our core values in everything we do, and the support staff that they have with their teammates and the coaches help build them into being better people and, succeeding in the classroom. And, that's the most important thing to us, is if you can do well in the classroom, you can do well on the courts, and there's we're just there every day to support them and help them to be the best person they can be.
Other thoughts on that? What's the environment, the experience that your student athletes, Jackie, I'll turn to you. You have some, I think, some powerful thoughts on this as it affects women's athletics.
Yeah, I think that the number one and most important thing about athletics for girls and women is the leadership training piece, and just teaching them to have their own voice and to think for themselves and to grow and develop in all the ways and to become great leaders. And our core values in our program are heart, integrity, toughness, and unity. And we try to just raise great leaders, and certainly we're trying to win every game we play, but other things become more important when you're teaching those values. And when they're done, we want our players to literally go anywhere in the world and be whatever they want to be and be tough enough to handle whatever comes their way. So the leadership training piece as athletics is set in this educational setting will always be paramount.
Excellent. So Tom, we're going to turn to you next, and kind of taking off on what Jackie said, from my perspective, I always talk about trying to accomplish 3 goals when we bring student athletes to campus: making sure they're successful on the field of play, successful in the classroom, and then making sure we're setting them up to be successful in life. And a lot of that comes, is all really wrapped together. But a big piece of that is involvement and engagement in the community. And Tom, how is the women's soccer program tackled that? How are your women engaged in the community and what we do here in Greater Lansing?
Again, I probably have a horrible connection here, but I do believe your approach. I think that what we try to do with our student experience is it's not only what we do on the field, it's what we also do in the classroom, and it's what we do in the community. Those experiences that we provide. And I think Angela Monte at SAS and those folks do a great job guiding us. We always try to make that a part of the experience for our young people. We're really looking to make them better citizens when they go out in the world and are able to take some of the learned values and lessons from athletics and kind of spread the excellence through our communities. And that's an expectation for me with our program. And I think we've got a lot of examples over the years. I've had kids that go into the Peace Corps and different things that have really, from their experience at Michigan State, have really taken on a lifetime of community service. And that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, no, that really is. It's that I think that speaks to the values of the department and really to all of our individual programs, because I think each coach in their own way makes that a priority. Other thoughts on that?
It's interesting how certain teams will take on its own personality about what they like to get involved with. Our kids love the Toys for Tots. They love to adopt a family locally, shop for that family, and feel like that family becomes a part of our program. They've also really enjoyed the FOJ. It's Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, where we adopt a child that's got terminal cancer. And I think those lessons really hit home for the kids. And each year it's kind of different. What each group is more involved with, takes on its own personality as the kids grow and decide what they want to get involved with. Don't forget the study abroad program here at Michigan State is number one. And the fact that the way our sport is laid out, it's super available for our kids to be able to study abroad. And that's a phenomenal experience for a kid to get to go to. I've had kids in England, Dubai, Australia, Israel. I've had kids travel all over, and that's been a really cool thing that Michigan State Athletics and Michigan State in general does for our student athletes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jackie, Gene, Tom, and Walt. Sadly, our time has ended. You get to scoot out and get back to your evening, and we'll bring in the next group of coaches. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
As we bring
in,
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thank you. As we bring in that next group of coaches, I'm going to announce a few more prize winners. David L. from Portage, Michigan. We have a great piece of Spartan gear coming your way. Another piece of Spartan gear goes to Betsy B. from Pinckney, Michigan. One more piece of gear for Amelia P. from Portland, Oregon. And Amelia, with all the fires out there, we hope that you and your family are safe. On the other side of the country, a $100 Spartan Bookstore gift card goes to Sarah A. from Charlottesville, Virginia. And one more $100 gift card goes to John A. from Brooklyn, New York. So we're next bringing in a group of coaches that will help share some thoughts with us on on COVID, the pandemic, and how they've been innovating and have been creative over the last number of months. So joining us, Stacy Slobodnik-Stoll, going in her 24th year as our women's head golf coach. Matt Gianotis entering his 18th year as our swimming and diving head coach. Damon Rensing in his 12th year as our men's soccer head coach. And Jake Boss going into his 13th year as our baseball coach. Thanks all for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Thanks. I'm the baby with 12 years, huh? I'm the newbie.
You are. It's we just had on the old timers group with Walt and Jackie, and so you just aspire to that, I guess. But we could have thrown Stacy into that mix as well, I think. But you get in with the youngsters, Stacy.
That was very nice of someone to do that. I appreciate it.
So here's the rule that wasn't in the information you received. Before you answer a question, you have to give us a fun fact about yourself that we couldn't figure out by Googling you on the internet. So I'm going to expect a fun fact out of everyone. So, Stacy, I'm going to put you on the spot first because you've got all that experience, and ask you, how have you adapted over the last number of months with all the issues related to the pandemic? And how has the team been adapting, and what have they been up to, and how have you been able to handle all this?
Well, good questions. I could probably answer those in about an hour, but so it's been a roller coaster, I would say, and it's been an interesting challenge. So our season was canceled in March, And we were ranked 16th in the country at that time. So you can imagine the disappointment, not only for myself, but for our team. And up to this point, it really hasn't gotten much better. Our fall season is now not happening. And so it's taken a lot of adaptation. And I really, really have learned what the word patience means. And in a world where we expect things to happen now, nothing is happening now. It's a very, slow process. Things change every day, and it's been disheartening in a lot of ways. Yet as a coach, we've got to stay upbeat all the time and make sure that our players understand that we're going to get through this. And Bill, I always appreciate you saying that too, and reminding us that this is just, a little blip in our lives, and it's going to be okay, and we're going to get through it. In terms of having a family and being a mom and a coach, this is the first time in 30 years that I've been off the road, that I haven't been in a plane since March, which is very strange. I haven't been in a hotel room, and that is very odd. And the team, for everyone to know, is we're doing great right now. All our players came back. In the month of August, maybe some of you have watched the United States Amateur that was held. Valerie Plata, our junior from Colombia, South America, made it to the semifinals. And then our Canadian player, Sid Narrow, won the Ontario Amateur. We also had Halen Harris, another junior, make it to the semis in the North-South in Pinehurst in July. So we've got the horses, and they're ready to get out of the gate, but the gate doesn't seem to be opening for us right now. So again, lots of patience. This fall, we're running the team just like we normally would without the competition. We actually hosted a mock home tournament, our Mary Fossum Invitational, last weekend. It had one team and 8 players only, but at least the kids got to get into their uniforms. They got an itinerary. We had a team meal, which is something we would normally do. Had scoreboards. We made the winner give a speech. So it kind of just gave them that experience of what it really felt like. We're playing and practicing on a daily basis. They're working out, and fingers crossed we've been COVID-free so far. I hate to really say that out loud, but I just hope it stays that way. We're doing the best that we can, and it is difficult. But we know that hopefully this is going to end soon. We look forward to the spring when we can get on the road and compete again.
So Stacy, what's your fun fact?
My fun fact is I've hiked to the bottom of the Grand Canyon 7 times.
Holy smokes! That's wow. All right. Others of you that want to comment on how things have been going, Matt, your team's been challenged a bit because the intramural where the swimming pool is hasn't been open.
Yeah, but it was open today. So we practiced today. We tested on Friday, and we went 65 for 65 negative. So that was good. And I'm not spiking the ball until we actually get a touchdown, which who knows when that will be. But we got into practice today for the first time in 6 months, which was really exciting. We're a winter sport, so we are not going to be able to compete this fall, but hopefully maybe we'll be able to in the springtime. Keep your fingers crossed. But my fun fact would be that in consecutive birthdays, as a member of the MSU athletic department, I met Muhammad Ali on one of them. And then my very next birthday, I had John Smoltz's dad play Happy Birthday to me on his, what's it called? The thing that Izzo plays.
His accordion.
Accordion.
Yeah. Those were 2 pretty cool birthdays in a row, for me.
That's pretty good. So let's move on to another question. And Matt, I'll go back to you on this one. How do you feel your athletes have been able to adapt to online learning in this environment?
So I think the transition has been pretty smooth because a lot of the older kids, they take a lot of online classes anyway. I think what's been difficult for most people is having human contact with their advisors and being able to at least talk to somebody face to face. That's been the toughest part. But I think from a transition standpoint, I think the kids did I give the kids nowadays a lot of credit because a lot has been thrown their way. And I mean, not just the athletes, but also the students here at Michigan State. I know a lot of negative headlines come from MSU if you read that, but I think the kids have been doing a pretty good job, and I think they've transitioned quite well.
Excellent. So, Jake and Damon, your experience with your students in online work, everything's been going okay?
Yeah, our guys, Bill, have done a tremendous job. I mean, similar to Stacy, you know, our season ended in the middle of March after 15 games, and you know, guys were really devastated at the time. And so, the more information that we got, I think, you know, the better we were able to handle things, and understanding that the seniors got time back, got their year back, and things like that. But you know, while that was all going on, obviously school hadn't stopped, and so. Transition into online learning for us was just outstanding. Our guys did a tremendous job. I think we finished with a 3.65 grade point average, which is a program record, and was just really proud of the way that our guys kind of handled their business. And so we really never missed a beat. I would agree with Matt. The human interaction, you know, piece of it has been probably a little bit more challenging. You know, tutorials online and things like that are a little bit different, but you know, at the same time, I think they've adjusted extremely well. So for us, it's been all good.
Good. So Damon, hold on, Jake. I didn't get your fun fact.
Oh, my fun fact. So I go by Jake Boss Jr. a lot, but in all actuality, I'm Jake Boss the fourth. And my son is Jake Boss the fifth, so I've cursed him with that name as well. So we've got a little dynasty going.
And the pressure's on, I guess, to not break the streak. So he's
that's his problem, not mine.
That's a real problem if he has a daughter. So,
you never know. We'll see.
All right. Well, you know, one of the things that I think people might be surprised to learn is the degree to which we're testing very regularly, and then you know, and then those that might test positive, or even those that have been too close to people that have tested positive, end up in a you know, in a quarantine like you know, environment for a number of days. Jake, can you share with us how testing has been going, what that protocol is for your team, and you know, how it's gone so far this semester?
Yeah, so you know, for us, we started practice a week ago Wednesday on the 16th, and typically we start a little earlier, but you know, we've got the out-of-state guys that we wanted to quarantine for 2 weeks after they got to campus, and so you know, just as a safety precaution, at that point we tested everybody and had 0 positives. However, we came back about a week later with 1 positive test that we did through contact tracing, and so you know, he was in isolation for 10 days and is now out, and has been able to kind of rejoin the team. At the same time, you know, we had a number of guys that were in quarantine after getting back to campus because of, again, contact tracing and things of that nature. So we started practice. We have 44 guys on the roster this year. We started practice with, I think, 23 healthy bodies that could practice. And as of today, we've got all but 2 of them, actually all but 1 of them back. So with no positive tests, knock on wood. So you know, we understand that you know, the message to our guys is we're going to have to make some sacrifices if you know, if we want to continue to play this spring, if we want football to go, which obviously we all do. And it's you know, the focus has got to be on somebody else and not ourselves, and understanding that, you know, making some of those sacrifices can hopefully lead to us getting a chance to play our season again in the spring. And so our guys have done a nice job, you know, reacting to that and handling their business the right way, and staying healthy up to this point. So hopefully that continues.
And Damon, I'll turn now to you. You know, now that you're back with us, how's the testing process and the quarantine and isolation been working from your perspective? I know at times, you know, probably very frustrating, but share with us how that's you know, how that's impacting your team and how you're working through it.
Obviously, it's never fun to go through or to have to deal with, but I will say that our doctors, Dr. Sally Nogel and Jeff Covan, have been unbelievable, laying out exactly how things are going to happen. And should somebody test positive, what's going to happen, how they're going to go to Kellogg Center. I mean, everything has been as advertised and what's been laid out for us. So that's been a very good positive and made it much easier for us to navigate. We just try to really communicate with the players, talk about really keeping their bubble close and really bringing in the people you trust. And you have smaller groups and you work in pods, but what's been positive about that is, you focus on the individual and some guys get some extra attention. I'm supposed to say a fun fact too, right, Bill?
Yes, and you remembered, so A+ for you.
Yeah, so I took 4 years of Russian. I spent a month in Russia, so I can speak a little bit of Russian.
Okay, so I had a different fun fact, but given Damon's fun fact, I'll say that when I was a freshman at Michigan State in my first semester, I signed up for the introductory Russian class and lasted 2 days. It dawned on me that was going to be a monumental effort that was beyond my comprehension. So my hat's off to you, Damon. That's extraordinary. I was 2 days in Russian 101. That was all I could handle. So
I got the 300. Я хочу играю в футбол, which means I love to play soccer.
Very good, very good. So Stacy, I'll turn to you with a question. The prospects for women's golf this year are, assuming we can get through this darn stuff and get you all on the golf course, are pretty high. Tell us a little bit more about your women and your team.
Well, I've got 2 freshmen that actually just won their USGA 4-ball qualifier this afternoon, shooting 9 under as a team. One is from Argentina. Her name is Valentina Rossi. And then the other is Layla Rains, and she's from Galena, Ohio. And then I told you a little bit about Valerie, our Colombian. By the way, speaking of Valerie, I said that she made it to the Final Four or the semis in the U.S. Amateur. Her fun fact would be when she left campus on March 20th, she played 4 rounds of golf before she got back to the U.S. on July 31st to start competing in the U.S. Amateur.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty phenomenal. And when I talked to her after she lost in the semis, I said, "What are you most proud of?" And she said, "Coach, I played 4 rounds of golf." And all she was doing was hitting golf balls into a net in her backyard in Colombia. And it was really, if we thought we had it bad in the U.S. since March, to me, I feel like we've been living in a party compared to what Spain, Argentina, some of the other countries have been going through. So kind of the same thing for my 2 Spaniards. I've got a 5th-year player named Paz Marfa Sanz who is getting her master's of accounting. And then I've got a sophomore also from Spain. Great players. And, it's just, again, the easiest way I can explain it is I feel like we're sitting at the Kentucky Derby with 8 superstars in the gates, and their adrenaline's pumping and they're ready to go. And I don't know when the gates are going to open, but the good news is the NCAA is allowing all of our players to do some outside competition. So over the next couple of weeks, they are going to have the opportunity to compete on their own, at least to keep those competitive juices flowing. And then most of them will go back home at the beginning of November, actually. Most of them are from warm weather climates. We all know in November it starts to get a little dicey here. So they will be able to be home and play and work on their games, in the 80-degree temperatures until they come back to MSU. So, we've got a great team. We certainly hope we can compete for a Big Ten and national championship this year.
All right, I've got a quick question for everybody. This is really simple. It's a quick thumbs up or thumbs down. Matt, Coach Giannotis has on his ball cap that's got the neon Spartan on it. So on the neon green Spartan, are we thumbs up or thumbs down? I'll start with Matt.
Oh. So thumbs up. I'll go next. Bill, this actually
Spartan alum, traditionalist.
Actually, this is a College of Ag school. It's from my wife, so I have to put thumbs up. This is from the Ag Expo stuff, so I have to go thumbs up here.
Very good, very good. So Stacy, you look like a thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm with Damon. Spartan alum. I like the traditional green and white.
All right. So Jake?
I wear a baseball hat every day, and the Spartan helmet's white, so I got to go thumbs down.
We're 1 for 3, but Matt, you gotta be impressed for carrying the College of Ag with you today. So
Yes, send your complaints to my wife for sure.
We're a university first and foremost, so good for Ag and Natural Resources. Thanks so much.
All
Well,
right.
guys, it's been great fun having you with us tonight, and I will let you get back to your evenings, and we'll bring in the next group of coaches. So go green.
Go White.
Go White.
Go White.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're gonna. Well, that was really a spectacular video. I had some very special moments in there. So joining us now are our newest 5 head coaches in Spartan Athletics. So we in a prior group we had our most senior coaches in Spartan Athletics, and so now we've got our newest coaches. And so Kim Bruno, entering her 5th year as our women's tennis head coach. Mike Rowe, going on his 4th year as our gymnastics head coach. Kim Favors entering her 2nd year as our rowing head coach. Dan Cole entering his 4th year as our ice hockey head coach. And Roger Chandler going on his 5th year as our wrestling head coach. And so I think it really speaks to what we're doing here in Spartan Athletics, that even our newest coaches are 4 or 5 years with us for the most part. So great and storied history and a lot of longevity. So we'll start with a question for a couple of our newer head coaches, the 2 Kims. But hold on, but before we do that, I've got to remember, we're changing things up on you just a little bit here. So I want everybody, either before or after you answer your question, to give us a fun fact about yourself that no matter how much internet searching we did, we couldn't discover. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. To our 2 Kims, why MSU? What brought you here to East Lansing? Kim Bruno, you want to tackle that one to start with?
Sure, I'll definitely tackle that one. I mean, why not? Isn't this the premier destination? No, honestly though, it took a lot for me to decide to leave where I was before. I was at Northern Arizona University. I was a head coach there for 11 years, and I loved my lifestyle there. I would wake up on big powder days, go skiing, find little slot canyons. Like, my lifestyle was a lot of fun, but I knew it was time for me to move to the next step in my professional career. And honestly, you want to be the best, you want to be surrounded by the best. And I truly believe that Michigan State Athletics has that. We have some of the best coaches in the country. We have the best administrators. We have the best supporters. I mean, look around this phone call right now. You have people from all over the country. I can go to Europe and people are like, go green, go white. That's just huge. You know, you want that support. You want to be in the room where it happens, kind of. You want people to bleed that green and white, and that I wanted to be a part of it. I also really think that Michigan is a beautiful state. There's a lot of stuff to do around here. I live on Lake Lansing. I love it. I don't want to be a new timer anymore. When can I get to my 30 plus years? So I truly enjoy it. And I also, one of the last reasons, I guess, is I just thought I could make a difference. I thought that, we could be better. We could be better than it has been as a program. And I think we're slowly starting to do that and seeing some results. So that's fun to see. That takes a little time. So that's my answer. Kim number 2.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to coach against Michigan State in rowing on several occasions, and the passion for their fan base and their team had always kind of really spoken to me. And the second person I got to meet when I interviewed here was our team's academic advisor, Danny Sager, and his passion for the university as an alum is something that really connected with me. And actually, my second day of work here, I actually, wore a Michigan State shirt for the first time, and I was pumping gas in East Lansing, and someone yelled across the parking lot, "Go green!" And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And he came over and he was like, "Are you new here?" And he taught me the "Go green, go white" cheer because he felt so impassioned to make sure I knew it. And that was one of the ways that I, just knew that this would be the right place for me, and I'm excited to be here.
So Kim Bruno, what's your fun fact?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Fun fact. I just recently broke my neck barefoot water skiing. I was like legit paralyzed on my right arm. Couldn't feel my fingers. Just got my neck brace off Friday. So I'm back to water skiing. Don't tell the doctors. And back to hitting tennis balls. So, I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Be careful.
I know.
So, all right, Kim 2.
Let's see. I can't whistle. Have been trying to learn my whole life, and I cannot whistle. I've had many a person try to teach me, and it's just not going to happen. So on my keys to my motorboat is actually a whistle, because I cannot whistle.
All right, that's a good one. All right, so next question. So two of our head coaches that are on this group were assistant coaches at MSU for a number of years, Roger and Mike. And so what's an experience or a lesson learned from your time as an assistant that you've brought forward to your head coaching days? And how's that transition been? Mike?
I would say that the first thing I realized entering my first year as a head coach here was to embrace the philosophy of delegating. I didn't do that. I fought it for a while, but eventually learned that I have an amazing staff. I can trust anything I throw at them. We complement each other in many different ways. They're all completely capable of handling any assignment that I have for them, and I wholeheartedly respect, appreciate everything they do and they bring to the table. So very fortunate in that regard, but I really had to let go and trust in my staff.
All right, and your fun fact, Mike?
Okay, well, I graduated in 1985 with a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture degree. Didn't do anything with that. But I was fortunate enough to take off for 12 years and tour the world, the country, doing musical theater before I got back into coaching.
Roger?
Yeah, so some advice that was given to me right when I became head coach here at Michigan State was, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I still live by that philosophy today because when I first became head coach, it was like trying to drink water from a fire hydrant. And, there was so much coming at you at one time. And, as a first-time head coach, you're still trying to figure quite a few things out. And what I learned is, it's a process. You have to stay the process, and good things will eventually happen. But it couldn't hold more true to today that it did in year one, is that you got to remember that it's a long term, and it's not just the immediate, because every coach wants to win, every kid wants to win, but it's the process that matters most.
Excellent. And your fun fact?
My fun fact, and only a few people really know this, but Kim Bruno will probably know this, but outside of wrestling, tennis is my favorite sport. I love watching tennis. I get up the middle of the night when the Australian Open's going on or the French Open. And you know what? I follow it pretty closely, and I'm pretty proud of it.
So I'm going to brag on this group for just a minute, take a little brief interlude from the questions and just brag on these guys. So I'm not going to get my facts 100% right, but I believe that Mike Rowe and Kim Bruno last year had the best season in their sports in at least a decade, maybe longer. And so they are on the rise. Roger Chandler, for his part, has wrestling ranked in some polls 13th and others 14th in the country this year. So a very, very strong top 20 team. Danton Cole last year had the mid-season. We were ranked #1 in the Big Ten, and very, very competitive program that's just grown extraordinarily since Danton has joined us. And then poor Kim's been here over a year, and due to all this craziness, hasn't even had a chance to compete. So, but we'll soon follow in the footsteps of her peers. So, so with a next question, Danton, you and I graduated from Michigan State in the same year, and you were famous. I was one of those guys in the stands, but in some of the best hockey that we've probably ever seen at Michigan State, with the stands packed and winning a national championship. And so when you came back to campus and you really started being here full time as a head coach again, what had changed? What was different than what you remembered from your years as a student, and then with your time away playing professionally and coaching?
Well, you know what? You come back on campus, and it's a special place, and that doesn't change. And I've been coming back off and on. I grew up around here. My dad taught at Michigan State for 30 years, so I was pretty ingrained in it. But you come back, and I think you realize just how special a place it is and how beautiful a campus it is. And I know a lot of the coaches probably said how lucky we're to be around a place like this. And everywhere you go, and I think like this time of year, unfortunately, this year is a little different, but every fall is just, it's so much fun, and you get the excitement and the spirit, and the band is out and they're practicing, and ROTC is out and the drum roll's going, and all the sports teams are on different courts, and there's going to be a football game on Saturday, and basketball's practicing, and we're getting going. It's a tremendous place to be. And you know what, that's the pride and the spirit. And I noticed that as soon as I came back, it was like I never left. It was running into your friend that you haven't seen for a couple of years, or a young guy you grew up with in high school. And that's how I felt coming back to Michigan State. So some things that have changed. I think some of the coaches mentioned earlier, I think the way the student athletes here are taken care of is unbelievable, from the academics and the nutrition and the training. That's completely different from when I was here. And, really, trying to develop that total person. And I'm really into that, and that fits me real well. And lastly, I would say the staff here. I think my first day, Coach D was coming up the ramp at Munn and greeted me here. And I think Coach Tucker's kind of picked up that mantle and that leadership from him. Coach Izzo, obviously he's a great Spartan in what he does and what he brings, and just the selflessness and the leadership that we get, and that's not usual. It's very, very unusual to have that. And you go around the country and you see different universities. It's not like that, where all the coaches do things together, work together, and take pride in the university in the same way. And I'd say that's been probably the biggest thing for me. That's really just made this a great experience for myself and my family.
So Danton, what's your fun fact?
You know what? My whole family, I'd say my mom and dad both got degrees from Michigan State. My sister did as well. And I have 3 daughters, and my middle daughter, Madeline, is getting her master's in education online as we speak. So we've got one of my parents' grandkids are getting their master's here from MSU. So pretty proud of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so very much for joining us. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll bring on the next team. Go Green.
Go White.
Go White.
Thanks so much, everyone. So we'll go ahead and take a little break here to announce a few more prizes as the next group of coaches make their way in. Ryan A. out in San Francisco, California. We have a great piece of Spartan gear coming your way. And again, with all the wildfires out in California, Ryan, please stay safe. Another piece of Spartan gear goes out to John R. from Greenville, Michigan. And a piece of gear for Paula T. from right here in Lansing, Michigan. A $100 Spartan bookstore gift card goes to James L. from Lansing, Michigan. And one more $100 gift card goes out to David D. from Rochester Hills, Michigan. And now we'll bring in our next group of coaches. And here they come. So we've got a great group here with, and I'll introduce them. Susie Merchant, going into her 14th year as our women's head basketball coach. Casey Lubon, entering his 10th year as our men's golf head coach. Kathy George, going into her 16th year as our volleyball head coach. And Helen Knoll, completing a decade as our field hockey coach. So Susie, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about how the social climate and current events are impacting your team.
Loaded question, and rightfully so. I think these times, Bill, are they're challenging times, and I think one thing that I've really tried to do is listen to my kids. The majority of my girls are Black females that I coach, and I think they're hurting in today's society. I think they're upset, and they're trying to understand the best way they can to make a difference in this world. And I think as a leader of women for 26 years, and certainly the majority of them being African-American females, to me, this is not a political issue. It's a human rights issue. And I've always felt that way. I think, for me personally, the way I've looked at it is, it isn't enough just to say in this world, hey, I'm not a racist. What are we doing? For me personally, I'm a white person, so I don't know what it's like to be Black. But what are we doing to be the best ally I can for our brothers and sisters that are Black? And I think that's something as a leader that has really, pushed me and to make me the best leader. They are struggling right now. What have we done specifically? I will tell you that besides just regular Zoom calls that we have and team meetings about some of the challenges, just collectively as a group, I think it's my job also to hear where they're hurting and how I can do a better job of putting people in front of them that are going to make a difference. And we've had many people meet with them via Zoom, mostly due to COVID. Like, for example, all of you Spartan fans out there will know this name, Terry Jackson. And you know her as Jaron Jackson's mom. But she's also the director of operations for the WNBA Players Association. She has a law degree from Georgetown, and she negotiated the collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA, and a very successful one. She's worked through the wobble and all of the challenges that COVID has placed. And as many of you know, you see it in the news, the NBA and the WNBA have been ahead of the game in terms of creating social change and certainly putting their mark on some of the challenges and some of the things that they feel that are really important. So for me, it is about supporting my kids and supporting my women and understanding that they have needs and they're hurting, and what can I do to the best of my ability to make them feel they're being heard, but also making change, not only here on Michigan State's campus, collectively in our community, and certainly, hopefully, beyond the Michigan State community and Lansing, looking at it from a national perspective. So, I'm really proud of my kids, and I've got some really amazing women here that are inspired, passionate about social change and the injustice that are going on. And, I'm here to support them. And I've just, I put a smile on my face every day, knowing I'm leading the next generation of women who are making a difference.
No, thank you so much for saying that, Susie. And earlier in the conversation tonight, I had mentioned that one of our goals in Spartan athletics is beyond academic success and athletic success is to make sure that the men and women under our care go out into the world and become successful in whatever their life's pursuit is. and so much of that is about leadership and being leaders, and it's critically important for us to support them in that, and so Susie, thank you for those comments. Thinking about leadership, I'll go a little off script here, and Kathy, ask you, how do you support your women developing as leaders? Oh, you're on mute, Kathy.
There you go. Don't laugh at me, Susie. She laughs at me all the time for stupid things like this, but okay, we're getting started. It's so important that women are feeling empowered and that they grow in their voice and they grow in understanding of what's important out there and how can they move forward. And so we do a lot with our team in order to get leaders to stand up and move forward. We've had this has been a tough time. It really has. And even this today, I mean, it was hard when we started practice today. And so really trying to work with my team to, open conversations and work together through some of these things. Like Susie, we had many a Zoom call over the COVID, and Naya Gross is one of our players who put together something for our team. It started with just our team, but she put together on her own, kind of just get together this like PowerPoint that discussed the whole racial issue and everything, and it brought in articles and TV shows and commentaries and all sorts of different things. And our team was able to look into that, and Naya shared it, and it went to the conference. It went to the conference office and was spread throughout the conference. It was also spread throughout MSU through Bill and their group. But I just really think it's important for people to have a voice and be able to speak what's on their mind, because it has been troubling times and people feel that they can't really express themselves or get things done, and so we need to be here to be a sounding board and to be able to help them enact some change and really step out and lead. So
yeah, no, Naya's work was really spectacular, and we did share that not only within our department but across the conference, and I think that was an example of some pretty extraordinary leadership by a young woman just on her own, taking it on to try and share her perspective and doing it through a set of slides that engaged people through sort of cultural references, and it was very, very, very special. Casey, what are the conversations that are going on within your team?
Well, thanks, Bill, and good evening to everybody. We have a unique situation in our starting five. We have the only two African-American golfers in the Big Ten Conference. And they're 2 of 6 in the Power 55 schools, so the biggest 55 schools, the Big Five conferences. There are 2 of 6 African-Americans that are currently playing college golf at the highest level. So as we've gone through this summer, I think, recruiting them, since they were in 8th grade, both of them basically, and knowing them for so long and their families, this summer, as things started to happen across the country, spending time with them, I realized, one of the things I have to do as a leader is be vulnerable to my blind spots. And one of the things they shared with me that I'm so proud of them for, but I wouldn't have noticed, is we played 9 golf tournaments last year, and 7 of the 9 golf tournaments, they were the only African Americans in the field. So instead of seeing it, as something so different, it's such an enormous opportunity for our program to be agents of change, because we have these guys here. They're our family. We love them. They're great players. They're great students. They're great humans. So the last 2 nights we've had hour-long programs, one with a group called Rise. Last night we started a series we're going to be doing together, noticing our blind spots and noticing what they go through, has really helped us all grow, and we're going to continue to grow, because it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but being able to share and even make mistakes in front of each other is how ultimately we learn. So I've been really proud of them. We just got off a very inspiring hour-and-a-half talk about 20 minutes ago. So we're going to keep moving forward, and really proud of those 2 guys, Andrew Walker and Troy Taylor.
Thanks, Casey. And Helen, you may bring a little bit of a unique experience, having grown up overseas with still a lot of family in Europe. How are you give us a flavor for how things might be different or the same in where your parents and family are living as compared to here in East Lansing?
Yep. Well, thanks, Bill, for having me tonight, and thank you everyone that's on the call. I think with field hockey, we're a unique sport in terms of worldwide. We're a top 3 sport in the world, but in the US, we're still very small. So on my roster, staff and players, we have, obviously we've got our domestic athletes, but we've also got players from Ireland, Canada, Scotland, New Zealand, and the Netherlands. So we have a very diverse group in terms of background and culture and knowledge and awareness. We're also a very white sport. And so it's kind of growing and developing, our demographic within our team, but also just the landscape of our sport in this country. But I think that what our group dynamic changes is that we have athletes and coaches that come from very different cultural backgrounds that have very different perspective. And whether that's on race, religion, sexuality, just viewpoints of life is very different. And I think that helps to kind of broaden our dialogue and discussion. Just like Casey was talking about, and Susie, and I know Kathy is also, I think every program's doing their own thing in terms of how we're reaching out to our athletes and how we're educating and developing and providing a safe space for comfortable and very uncomfortable conversations about social issues in this country and abroad. But I just think we have a different viewpoint because I've got, kids that grew up in countries where legal age of drinking and other things is a lot earlier than the US. You can vote at a different age, you can drive at a different age. So their viewpoint of what's right and wrong might vary and differ from kids from the US. But I think that only helps to grow my players' perspective and just kind of helps to open their eyes to not everything's the same in every country in the world. All of our athletes this summer that were home and couldn't get back to campus were in countries where there was protesting, peaceful and not so peaceful rallies for Black Lives Matter. And although there were issues that were kind of stemming in the US, you saw it all over the world. And as the semester keeps growing and going on, we're going to continue to work on our growth and development as a team.
Well, I want to thank the 4 of you for spending some time on a really serious issue and sharing with our Spartan community how that's impacted us here in East Lansing and how it's impacting your teams and how we're working very, very hard to take a situation around the country and around the world that's I think been very challenging and trying to use that as an opportunity to grow together and learn from each other and make our Spartan community as positive a place as we possibly can. I'll just mention that we're in the process of hiring a director of diversity and inclusion for the athletic department. I'm very excited about that hire this year, and hopefully we'll have that position in place yet this semester. So Elliot Daniels and Alan Haller from our team are working on that. So I'm going to be turn the conversation just a little more lighthearted, and I'm going to ask all 4 of you a quick question because we're running low on time for our segment. But I want each of you to share a fun fact about yourself, something that if I spent all day on the internet, I could never discover. So, Casey, we'll start with you. A fun fact.
Yeah, most of the coaches know this already, but when I was 16, I won the Grand Rapids City Ping Pong Championship. The problem was that the next time I played a serious game was in front of these guys against our former women's tennis coach, and she beat me mercilessly. So I used to be good at ping pong. All
right, Susie?
Oh, man. Well, I grew up in Traverse City, Michigan, which back in the day was a football mecca, right? It was a religion up there. So I grew up with 2 brothers, and anything they could do, I wanted to do as well. So I actually imposed myself, was an imposter as my older brother in a 7-on-7 league until one of the managers, he was a Down syndrome boy, blew me out of the water and said, "That's Susie Merchant. That's not her brother." I wanted no longer. 7 football. So, Coach Tucker, if you're on the call, I appreciate football. It's my favorite sport outside of basketball.
All right, that's a pretty good one, Helen.
I think my fun fact would be that obviously I'm born and raised in Scotland, but I'm actually dual national. My mom is from Ohio, so I have a British and an American passport, and then my kids in turn both have British and American passports. So 3 of the 4 in my household are dual nationals, so we feel like we can kind of slide in and out the country and no one knows where we are.
Very good. And Kathy?
Well, I'm a grandma. My son got a puppy a couple weeks ago, so I am now very happy, and I'm taking care of a little puppy dog, and that makes me very, very happy. So
very good. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight, and we very much appreciate your very thoughtful perspectives on a pretty important issue, not only on our campus but in the world. So thanks so much, and for all you do is really tremendous assets within our Spartan family. And go green.
Go White.
Go White.
Thanks so much. Now we'll get back to a little bit of fun and announce a few more winners as we bring in the next group of head coaches. So we've got a prize for Rebecca R. From Brownsville, Texas, a great piece of Spartan gear coming your way. Another piece of Spartan gear goes to Vic M. from Okemos, Michigan. A piece of Spartan gear for Robin H. from Grand Rapids, Michigan. A $100 Spartan bookstore gift card goes to Connie T. from Zeeland, Michigan. And one more $100 gift card goes to Donna D. from Birmingham, Michigan. So closing out tonight's program, we'll bring in head coach Tom Izzo, going into his 26th year as our men's head basketball coach, and Mel Tucker coming in for his first year. So welcome, coaches.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill. How you doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're good. You're good.
Awesome.
So
hey, Bill, this reminds me of my first game. We're playing Chaminade, Mel, over in Hawaii. I got Jed Heathcote. I got Magic Johnson behind me, and we beat Chaminade. We blew them out by 1, and our next game was against North Carolina. And Bill Raftery came over and said, Dick Vitale wants to talk to you back in the studio. So I said, I can't do that. It's right before the game. He said, come on over. Come on. This is Hawaii. So I go over there, and Dick Vitale's on the tube. And he says, hey, Tom, I wanted to wish you good luck today. I said, thanks. On the ticker underneath, he was running a thing. It said, Dean Smith, 839 wins. 1. And so I said then that's what you should feel. I've been here 26 years. You look a lot better than me. You've been here 1, but it'll get better.
So the NCAA has had basically a ban on recruiting. We haven't been able to have students come onto our campus, and you all haven't been able to get off campus and visit anybody. And yet, from my perspective, I'll say that a member of the media asked me about a month ago, what do you think of this ban on recruiting? And I said, well, as it relates to basketball, I'd like to make it permanent, because we've done pretty well over the last couple of months. But you guys, both Tom and Mel, have had some real strong recruiting in the last couple of months, and Mel in particular, given the fact that we weren't here, but you weren't here, but a month before the whole place shut down. I don't think we even had all of our assistant coaches here on campus, and so you've really been under the gun. But how has that been going? And we've been so successful.
Well, it's been going well. The coaches have done a great job. We recruit every day. That's our philosophy, and all of our coaches understand that that's a requirement. You can't coach bad players to play good. So the name of the game in college football is recruiting. But our coaches have done a great job. Our recruiting staff in terms of setting up virtual visits that have worked very well. I mean, I think we're probably up to 80 of those visits that we've performed for the recruits and their parents. And there's Zoom calls, FaceTime, and they meet with our academic staff. They meet with our strength and conditioning staff, our coaching staff,
coordinators, position coaches, and player engagement. And it takes about 2 hours. But at the end of the visit, the players and their parents, they know exactly what to expect from my staff and from Michigan State. And we've been successful doing those. So we've taken advantage of the opportunities that we've had to put Michigan State in front of folks. If you can't recruit to Michigan State, you can't recruit.
So Tom, I'm noticing that now that Mel has started practice, his voice is getting a little bit more like your in-season voice.
I called Mel yesterday. I went over to practice yesterday, and he called me this morning, and that's the first thing I said to him, man. Am I glad somebody around here talks like me, And, but I would second what Mel said, that my assistants tell me that I'm a lot better on Zoom than in the living room. That's why we got some success. But I think, we've kind of been innovative. We've kind of jumped on it real early. We had a good base. And that's what's so incredible about the job. And I want to tell all our fans out there, I've been here a long time, but I'm just getting to know Mel and the job he's done, not only in recruiting, but with his team. I mean, he's done everything on Zoom. I mean, I started laughing when you think of, he didn't even know the players' names. You can't get them all in football in a month. And then he's got his staff that he just got hired. And every time I talked to him throughout the spring, everything was virtual. And I'm not sure I could have done that. So I think our people are going to love him as a football coach. Mark D'Antonio was great. He had a lot of success here. And I think you're going to see Mel take that and run with it. And, it's going to be fun for me because, I think we both appreciate each other's sport. And I talked to his recruiting coordinator the other day when I was at practice, and she was telling me some ideas they had. And it's just going to be fun to recruit together, I think. I think we're going to be able to help each other. Yeah. And I think that's what our fans out there are going to love. We're going to do some work, together. And but the job he's done, Bill, and I'm not saying this, Mel, to make you feel good. It's not my cup of tea, but I just think that you've taken something, you ran with it. There's been no excuses. I make excuses for Mel when I talk to him, and he blows me.
No, Tom, I absolutely want to second that. When people ask, gee, what has surprised you about Mel? He is the most resilient person. I think I can't even imagine being thrown the curveballs that have been thrown at us from the virus to recruiting to all the different rules. For a while, we had a rule at the state level about how many people could be in an outdoor area together. So we had half of the team practicing on one field and half across the street practicing on the other field. And we were just finding a way to get it done, and really, really extraordinary. So on the topic of practice, Mel, how's practice been going?
I'm really excited about what I've seen. The guys, we got a lot of energy on the field. The coaches are getting after it. The players are embracing, the new systems and kind of how we practice. And it's up tempo, attention to detail, sense of urgency. I tell guys, and I never want to see you walk. And if you're not sure where to go in practice, just run in place. And they've embraced that, and we're getting a lot done. We got a long way to go, but so far so good.
And Tom, how have your guys been practicing, getting everybody back after the summer a little bit?
Well, since Mel's in season, another little anecdote about him. When I went over to practice, everybody's walking around with these sticks. I said, damn, this guy's going to get fired. He's beating players, and but he was getting them. I said, give me one of them sticks, man. I want to take that home, But that's kind of how innovative they've been. The sticks were 6 feet, so when he walks around, everybody stays within 6 feet. Now, that's pretty innovative. That one blew me away, Mel, I got to tell you. But our practices, we've got a couple kids with the virus, and then the tracing. But Monday, we're able to start pretty much full go. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been on a lot of Zoom meetings with the NCAA and whatever, Big Ten, and trying to figure out what we're going to do. Football, we've gotten to see what's happened with them, how it's gone. That's going to make it easier on us, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, like Mel and I talk all the time, players are going to, we can control them in the athletic bubble, but they're going to control themselves in their social bubble. And if we can get those two things done, we're going to win some games here this year in both sports and make all those fans out there that are starving for something to come. It's right around the corner, gang. We're coming at you.
Absolutely, and the Big Ten in both football and basketball this year is in pretty good shape. And I think, Tom, you and I were talking the other night, and we might be 12th in the country, and yet projected at 4th or 5th in the conference, and that's extraordinary.
Last year we had, at the end, the last week, there were 12 teams that were in contention for an NCAA tournament bid. And I think we figured out there had been 10 that would have definitely made it. Now I think we got 10 teams in the top 36. And so the good news is the conference is really good. That's the good news for all you fans out there. The bad news for the coaches, the conference is really good. So we got our hands full. But, I mean, there's nothing you like seeing better than good games. And I think that's the way it's going to be. And, we're trying to do something that only 2 teams have done, and that's win back-to-back Big Ten championships. And we've done it once here, and I think Ohio State did it back in the 60s. So pretty exciting. And yet for me right now, guys, I'm just doing what I normally do in the fall. A little practice, a lot of recruiting. But then on Saturdays, turn on that TV and watch game day and watch football all day. So, Mel, get your boys ready because I got some work. I'm going to be eating pasta and maybe a little wine and watching you play on the road. At home, I'll be there somehow. I don't know how. You'll be sneaking me in on that behind that bench, all right?
Hey, wherever you want to go, we'll make sure you get there, brother. You got a seat in the house for sure.
And no, it's not any easier on you. The Big Ten East usually has 2 or 3 or 4 of the top 10, 20 teams in the country, and that's no different this year with a very, very strong Ohio State, a very strong Penn State, and of course our friends down the road are always a challenge.
Yep. Well, they say everybody's got a plan until they get hit. And they all count for one, and that's why we got to play the games. And so no one's talking about us right now, and that's a good thing. We're just working hard. We're going to take it one game at a time, but our goal is to win every game that's on our schedule. We love to compete, and we love the pressure. Pressure is a privilege in my mind, but we have a process, and we're working our process, and the game will take care of itself.
So we'll end with every coach we've had on tonight. I've asked them to share a fun fact about themselves, something that we spent all day Googling you, we couldn't figure out. And so Stacy told us that she'd hiked to the bottom of the Grand Canyon 7 times, and Casey told us that he was the ping pong champion of the city of Grand Rapids one year. So tell us a fun fact.
Well, I could be like Damon and tell you I spoke Russian, but I speak Yupanese, so that's about the same as But I'd say a fun fact is one time I rode the landing at Pine Mountain. It was the big ski jump, world's largest man-made ski jump in Iron Mountain, wild world of sports. When a lot of us were growing up, that was where it came from. So that'd be a fun fact. I mean, I'd say football because everybody knows I love football, but probably something nobody knows is Mariucci and I did a little work at Pine Mountain on that ski slope.
That seems absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of fun.
So Mel, you're our 19 head coaches with the last fun fact of the night.
Oh man, that's a tough one. And I will say this: I used to play in elementary school and junior high and almost in high school. I used to play the string bass, and I was I was in the orchestra, and so I had the little bow deal, and then I do the little pizzicato deal they talked about, and I thought I was going to be like a big time, string bass guy, but I kind of gravitated more towards football and basketball, and so but I really enjoyed that, and I appreciate anyone that's doing any type of instrument or in the band or orchestra. I think it's pretty cool.
Mel,
Hey,
you're
Mel, I got a radio show at Christmas. I play the accordion, you play whatever. I didn't even know what the hell that meant. But if you can learn Jingle Bells, you're in.
I was going to say, Mel, you're going to regret saying that because you're now part of a duo.
Yeah.
I'm all in, man.
Tom pulls out his accordion and starts doing Christmas carols, and I think you can back him with that bass, and we'll have a heck of a show.
Hey, we'll get it done. We'll bring the house down.
Yeah, just keep yelling at practice. You know what? I told Mel, I said, every time somebody asks me, why is your voice gone? I said, damn, Ruby just drives me crazy at the house, and sometimes I got to yell at her, But, so JoJo was in trouble over there, but it's nice to have the situation back where when I went over and said hello to him the other day and he came with that rough voice, I said, yes.
No, I only raised my voice in enthusiasm, but I was fired up to see Coach at practice. I told our players last week, I said, Coach Izzo is going to be at practice at some point, and what is he going to say when he leaves practice? I said, because Michigan State basketball, they know how to practice. They know what practice is supposed to look like, and so I was really fired up to see him there, and he was pleased in his first sighting. So we must be doing something right if Coach Izzo says that. If he's nodding his head, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, no, Mel, I was walking out of practice and Coach was walking in, and I actually said to him, I said, it's feeling a lot like a basketball practice out there. So we've got some high energy over at Duffy as well as at Breslin. So Coach Izzo and Coach Tucker, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Now, Coach, you have Tom, you have a message to share.
I do. I mean, I'm going to ask the people out there if they want to have dinner with me. 3 or even 4 of your closest friends. All you got to do is register at InsideTheGreenSweep.com. I will personally have dinner with you. We can have it at my house. We can have it at the arena. Maybe we can even bring Mel over. But you can bring your friends. It'll be set up for some exclusive tours or different things we're going to be doing. Tickets to a game. In fact, I'll give you tickets right behind the bench. And if we're losing, I'll let you take my seat and I'll sit in your seat. So it'll be a good deal there. But register now for this exclusive experience with me and my family. And maybe we'll drag Mel and JoJo over. And remember, this is brought to you by somebody special for us. That's Farm Bureau Insurance Company. So go green, and as Mel and I had to do last night, go vote.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for saying that, Tom. Get out and vote. And Tom and Mel, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We really, really appreciate it, and I'll give you a big go green.
Go white.
Go white. Thank you so much.
So thanks again, everyone, for being with us tonight. We have one more $100 Spartan Bookstore gift card to give out. And that goes to Darren S. from St. Joseph, Missouri. So congratulations to all our winners. We really look forward to the day when we can welcome you all back to campus so that you can see our student athletes and coaches live and in action. In the meantime, support us by joining us. Commit to making a gift to the Spartan Fund. And thanks so much. And also, I'd like to let you know that as part of MSU's homecoming activities, the Big Ten Network will be airing the 2012 MSU versus Wisconsin thriller Saturday at 2 p.m. Finally, I want to thank the Sparrow Health System for being our sponsor tonight. Friends at Sparrow, we appreciate everything you do for Spartan athletics. As we say goodbye, enjoy the following video messages from some familiar faces, and go green.
Spartan Nation, how's it going? I was thinking about you guys today out here repping the green and white in Minnesota. I just wanted to reach out, make sure everyone's doing all right, staying positive, staying healthy through this virus, through these tough times. I miss being out on campus. I miss playing in front of y'all in Spartan Stadium, so hopefully we can get back to that soon. Go green.
Hey, Spartan Nation. Hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy, and keeping positive. I miss campus as much as you do. Hopefully we'll be able to celebrate homecoming next year. In the meantime, stay strong, go green. From Bloomfield Hills with love.
Hey Spartan Nation, it's Ariel Powers, WNBA champ, and I want to say happy homecoming week. We all want to be on campus rooting the Spartan football team on together, but things are a little bit different this year, and that's okay. We're still going to root them on from home, and they're going to feel it. So I want to say to you, let's be Spartan strong through these times, get through it together, wear your mask, but last but not least, go green.
What's up, Spartan Nation? Matt McQuaid. Just want to say hello, and I hope everybody's doing well and is healthy. I know everybody is ready to get back on the field and on the court here. We're almost there, and just keep your heads up, stay positive. Go green, go white, baby. We're going to be back before you know it.
Hey, Spartan Nation. This is Ryan Miller. Just want to check in and see how everybody's doing. It's been a tough year, not going to lie. Frustrating that we can't be doing the things we love, especially getting on campus, supporting the Spartans. But hopefully next year we'll be back. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay strong, stay positive, and all the best from Los Angeles, California. Go green.
Hey, Spartan Nation. Shalik Calhoun here, number 89. Hope everyone's doing well. Staying healthy and staying positive most of all. I know I miss being on campus and watching Spartan football just as much as you guys have been. But hopefully we can get back to campus soon. Get back to that good old Big Ten football that we know and love. Stay strong and go green from here in Foxborough.